All right. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. How's it going?
Excellent, brother. How are you doing?
Hey, good, good. I've got Devin here. We're co-hosting Planning Your Agent Real Estate Business in 2021 in 30 minutes or less. I promise you we're going to get through it. It'll be time well spent. So, Devin, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
I am blessed. I'm excited. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving to you, and happy end of 2020, and welcome to 2021 already.
Yes.
In the real estate world for those of you watching this. And we're so blessed to have Devin here. Real quick background on me and Devin and how we're going to bring value today on this live stream. Now, we've both been planning for many years in real estate. Devin, you've been in real estate what? A long time.
Believe it or not, I got my license originally in 1991, so 30 years next year.
Okay.
It's 30 hard to years. Do that when you're only 29, you know.
Yeah. And you've done it all really in real estate, from agent on up, investor, short sales, all that kind of stuff, property management, all the way up to last year you're part owner of a team that did around 1,500 units. Correct? Yep. Last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was that was my former team, exactly.
Yeah, you've led a lot of agents, and now we're now at our new company, we continue to lead hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and soon to be thousands of agents, right, through this process of navigating their way in the world of real estate, right? Yep. We don't have a boss that's telling us, plan your goals for 2021, right? I need to see an 8% increase.
Yes.
No,
yes.
that's not happening.
That's definitely one of the biggest differentials for sure.
So, however you found this video, we're glad you're here. I do consider it an honor and a blessing to be spending time together, even if it's recorded or whatever it might be, that this time together would bless your career and your life. That's why Devin and I created our company. And I've done the same thing. I've been through many, many iterations of this process of planning. And newsflash for those of you who don't know, we are in 2021 already. Some of us are going to be glad to have 2020 in the rearview mirror.
Right.
And here's what I know. You could go through your career and just not plan at all. Right. And even not planning is a plan. Correct?
Right. Absolutely.
Not planning is a plan. Now, we've got a simple tool for you to use. It's important for you to have the right mindset and the right fundamentals of, what planning is going to mean for you. Because to just plan and not do, this would just be a great, brain exercise. We're really planning so that our goals and our plans become the dictators of our action, right? That we're backing up our plans with actual action, which is what we're going to take you through today. We're going to boil this all the way down to, Devin, how many people do I have to call today?
Yeah, I love that. And I will tell you, you saw me right on my board here. Today's real estate date today is, one of the things that's so interesting is that if you look at what happens in real estate, is that we do activities now that don't pay us for 90 days. So if we think about what today's real estate today is, if today is November 23rd, which I think it is, then we have December 23rd, January 23rd. It's technically February 23rd. That's 2/23/21. And a lot of people go, holy cow. Yeah, that's right. This is actually what we're planning for right now. So let's jump into it.
Yep. Great. Let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Add to screen. You should be able to see my screen. So this is a spreadsheet. If you love spreadsheets, awesome. If you don't love spreadsheets, don't worry. We've done most of the work for you. We've done 90% of the work for you. So
just a quick plug on that. Yeah. If you need help filling this spreadsheet out, just reach out. We're here to support you. Even if you just want help filling the spreadsheet out on your own for the first time ever. I will tell you, when I look at this spreadsheet, my eyes kind of glass over, and I'm a high D, and I go straight to where's the bottom line, and I start looking for where the bottom line is on this. But at the end of the day, it's all very, very important, and we want to help you literally take you step by step through this and give you the tools you need.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. So bottom line, for those of you who like bottom line, is you're going to end up with a grand total to fund your life and how many units it's going to take. Now, again, if you want this spreadsheet, feel free to reach out to myself or Devin. And I'm glad to share it with you. We'll eventually have it up someplace where you can automatically get it. But in a nutshell, here's what we're doing, Devin, on this page. We're taking, first of all, your personal expenses, right? For your life, your living expenses. Most of you know what these are, whether it's, mortgage, rent, utilities, food.
But I don't see beer and DoorDash is not on there. What happened?
Right. Yeah. Well, you can put that under restaurant/fast food or coffee/alcohol.
There
right.
You go. Okay.
So whatever that is for you, whatever, however you want to index on that in 2020 and beyond, medical, all that kind of stuff we're putting in here to get a grand total number of living expenses. Okay,
so
wonderful.
Like 80 different subcomponents of this, and I think that when I look at that list there, Sean, it can be overwhelming or daunting. If you want to start with some swag numbers, you can totally do that. But the more detail you provide, the easier it is for you to have an accurate forecast. So while it looks daunting, I would just tell you to stop. This is a great time to be grateful for what we have and what we know. And reality is a really good gut check for how it is that we're going to make 21 effective for us. So thank you for doing that.
And if you're not the detailed one, if you've got a spouse, significant other, somebody else who could help you with this, yeah, great. Have them go at it. We've put the numbers in there by default for you. So you're thinking of the details as you go through it. And then you know what, when we're done with this, Devin, if you're not a high details person, you don't have to think about the details. You just have to go down to how many contacts do I need to wake up and make today? That's where we're at.
Another way of looking at this, I was just going to show my screen real quick, is that you've got your income and your expenses, right? That's really what we're trying to figure out. Is that on your income, you're listing that out. The challenge with income in real estate is you don't actually know until you put the effort in. On the expense side, that's what we're trying to figure out. We want you to get super crystal clear on what that number is so that you can go on the income side and make it happen. The one other thing we really want to talk about down the road is how do we get you more assets and decrease the liabilities, which is a whole separate conversation, but that's the one we want to jump into later.
Totally. Yep, totally agree. Good point. So step 2 is you're putting in your business expenses. Now, this here today, we're gearing this towards you've got, rather simplistic business expenses. If you're running a real estate team and beyond, you're going to have a more intricate business list. We actually have a separate planning tool just for business owners. And for those of you who aren't there yet, or you're planning to build a real estate team or practice, those kinds of things, that's important as well. It's important to know, what are my monthly expenses for my business? So you're punching those in here. You're treating, in this case, Devin, we're treating real estate like a business because it is. If you treat it like one, you're punching those in here.
Well, what I noticed right off the bat is that there's nothing in there for salaries. And what's so funny about this whole conversation, and we can go into a lot of different directions, but I'm a big fan of the concept of profit first, and that's a great book. And there's a lot of other things. But what I will tell you is all my mentors in the past and everything that in my gut tells me is that if we don't start paying ourselves first, and we don't set a standard for what we think we deserve, we end up having a salary of this much, which you saw on that spreadsheet. And that actually is ineffective for your true planning. So it's a big opportunity there for sure.
Well put. Yep. So, and then step 3 here, this is the thing that most real estate agents forget to plan for. These are either big rock items or what we call dream board items, right? So it could be you want to buy a rental property, talking about moving into more assets, right?
Well, can we just be real though, Sean? And number 1 is actually debt. It's really most likely debt. It's credit card debt. It's
could be.
Unfortunately, where it could be school loans. It could be a lot of other things. But quite honestly, that yes, I'd love to see everyone's have a bunch of really great things that they're saving for, but we got to knock the debt out first. So
this is an entire exercise in getting real to get right. Right. So you're getting real if you want to know how many contacts to make today, Devin, to support your 2021 goals. Let's get clear on exactly what you intend to pay off or do with that money. The money is only good for the good that it can do. We want to know, by the way, it's great if some of these items are not inward focused. They're focused on somebody else. They're focused on giving back to a church or to a mission or to a cause or to a person. If it's not a child, it could be a niece, a nephew, a cousin. some little person in your life who could be blessed through something you could give them. And it could be an experience, right? It could be the experience of taking a trip or going somewhere abroad or whatever that might be for 2021. Punch those numbers in here. Of course, this is the big one, taxes. Everybody seems to forget about taxes. Don't forget about taxes. And hats off, by the way, to our partner, Jim Gray, for putting this together. To give credit where credit is due. Jim took all of the different planning tools that we had at my previous company through the years and rolled it into this very automated sheet. So here's what we end up with, Devin.
Now,
we end up with down here.
On taxes, Sean. I just want to make sure that people do understand that you use the number 30% in there. And while 30% actually is probably the right number, I just want to make sure that we're crystal clear here that you have to begin with the end in mind in every area. And taxes is a big deal. And the more you make, the more you need to plan for that. And it's a blessing to be able to pay taxes. It's also not a blessing to not have the money to pay taxes because you already spent the money. So just be very, very real with yourself on that. And that actually causes you to maybe peel off to a separate account or do something really strategic to make sure that that money is there when you need to pay it.
Yep. Well put. Yep. Appreciate that. So at the end of the day, we've got here the grand total in our production business planning tool. Now, in here, you would put in your average commission, right? So whatever that might be based on your average sales price and your average commission percentage gives you your average dollars per transaction as a real estate agent. This could be, after you're split, if you're on a team, if you're not on a team, just what is your number, right? What is your number? And so this is going to give you a number of, like, in this case, a grand total of 247. And this is telling me right here, I got to do 35 units, Devin, next year when my grand total is 247. This is a life by design, right? What we're designing here is our ideal life. We have to say the purpose of business and or your career should be to fund your perfect life. Now, maybe you've got other income, you've got, a spouse, you've got, other income or assets. You could adjust those into this system if you want, right? And yet here's what we know. Most of us, here's what we're after. What is that number? What is my number for this tab is called your best life funding worksheet. So 15. Now we're taking that 35 number. We're taking that over to the second step. You don't even have to do the math on this if you don't want to. We've punched in some examples for you. Or if you'd like, go in and edit these. Make them your own, right? If you don't know your numbers, just use these numbers.
Why don't you just walk us through a couple of them real quick?
Yeah, so this is taking that total of 35 units and breaking out, what percent of my business is going to be with sellers versus with buyers. Okay,
so 35.
Now there you go. Those of us who've been in the business a while, we know it would be much more advantageous of you to work with more sellers. In most markets, it takes about a third to a fifth as much time to work with a seller as it does with a buyer. And again, get real to get right on how much of your business has been seller versus buyer, right? So there's what you intend to, and there's what you think you can index to in 21. Then
I would say another thing that happens there, Sean, is that here, like for instance, here in Orange County, with an average sales price that's pretty high, you're walking into a seller conversation and you're asking somebody to give you a paycheck of $50,000 to $100,000 there at your listing appointment. And without the right mindset, without the right training, without the right strategies, that becomes more challenging. So that's why you'll find a lot of people never make it over to the listing side because they haven't figured out all those things. And so it's critical that people do understand that. But you could be 5 times more effective if you work with sellers rather than buyers. It's a huge thing.
Or you could work a fifth as much time in a week. You've coached me a lot on what's your dollar per hour. Okay, great. You worked 80 hours this week. What's your dollar per hour?
Right. As a matter of fact, I'm coaching a guy right now, and he literally is keeping time of all of his tracking his time, if you will, and he's averaging like 70 hours a week, but he's 80-20 buyers to sellers, and if we can just invert that conversation, it can totally change things. So reach out to us if you want to learn more about that as well. We have programs to help you with that too.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yep. Yeah. So the perspective here is how many buyers and sellers are you going to close? And then this is an interesting one down here. I had a question about this from last week, Devin, which was how many weeks do you intend to work in a year? Now, remember, we got to take holidays right? We've got to take time for loved ones, friends, family. Probably want to take a vacation somewhere in there, right, Devin? I know you like Mexico or wherever, up in the mountains, wherever it might be. Purposely plan on this. There, you know what? You can get sick. So we've got a plan for time. We're not going to just be able to be on all the time.
Well, and by the way, you're back to this dollar per hour, right? And I think it's a really important conversation. I have good buddies of mine that are top producers. Like, for instance, one of my buddies, Greg Harrelson, he specifically plans his entire year around only working 6 months. So, but when you begin with the end in mind, you can take 180 days off if that's what you want, but you just got to put it in the planning tool, and then you got to actually plan it. That's the key.
Yeah. One of my past coaches, Tony DeCello, at our previous brokerage, he was big on this. You might not take 6 months off at a time. Maybe you see, how does your business do when you step away for 4 days instead of 2? How does your business do when you step away for a week? When you come back, do you have systems and leverage and tools in place that make your business better than when you left it? It should be progressing up, not down. Right.
Well, and that's why you've been so successful with 14 moves in the franchising process that you did, in your previous brokerage. And now you've been able to bring all of that over, and now you get to own the brokerage, which is a whole nother conversation.
Well, as you go into dollars per hour, you start to look for multiple revenue streams, and that's what we found. So this is guiding you through the economics of your business plan. The final tab here is where we're actually tracking goal versus actual. So Devin, you and I have both been professional real estate coaches. We still coach people today on production. And this is your scoreboard, right? This is your scoreboard to look at. Okay, I set a goal here for 2021. How am I doing? How am I doing on a weekly basis on my conversations, right? And then you'll notice this part here for sellers and then for buyers, Devin, this is focused on month to date and year to date. And some of you who maybe haven't been exposed to this or been exposed to it in a different way say, well, why would I track month to date and year to date? Right? Well, because we might have to adjust. We might have to adjust. So this tool gives you can literally just punch this in. So let's say, look at January. Look, newsflash for those of you, you're almost set up for January. Right? We've got a few weeks left to put stuff on the books in most areas. In the state of New York, January is already done. It takes 60 days to close the deal in New York. You're done. Right? It's like Thanksgiving's here, man. Okay, so you're punching in your actuals here, right? 1 closing, maybe you index up to 3 closings, 2. This is how most real estate agents' business.
I just love that over and under column that's changing to show you where you are based on your goal. I think that's
fun. Yeah. So you're punching in here goal and actual. And this is what we call the importance of this. It's just like anything in life. What you track, you can improve, right? If you're not tracking it, if you don't know where you're at, 1 of 2 things is going to happen. You're going to feel better than you should, right? Or you're going to feel worse than you should. Instead, let's know where you're at in your business. And yes, results is important, Evan. Here's what we know, though, for all of you listening. Here's what we know. If you're not paying attention to the leading indicators in your business, it does no good to look at the lagging indicators because it's going to feel like you have no control.
By the way, the number one lagging indicator that most people are looking at is what's the balance in my checkbook, right? And they're getting ready to go shop for Christmas presents, and they're saying, well, if it wasn't for COVID this and it wasn't for COVID that. Remember, mindset becomes a big piece of this conversation, but what's even more important is how am I checking into these numbers in a way that I'm having a relationship with the numbers that causes me to go out and do the work.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna hit on this one last time because we're gonna finish a little early. So back on the second tab, what this is boiled down to is my 35 closings. Now your conversion rate could be better than this or could be worse than this. We're using a 1% rule. Means that basically, Devin, I gotta have 15 conversations a day to have 35 closings in a year. Mm-hmm. Now, people will hear this and listen to it, and here's the takeaway that I have observed in real estate when you're talking about that delayed gratification. Mm-hmm. See, we've got this time period in real estate between the activities that you do and the results that show up. It's just like a farmer who plants seeds, and a farmer, you would call them an idiot if you expected all of those seeds that they could harvest a crop a week later, right? You say, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And yet in real estate, we repeat this process too many times. So here's what I would say about the 15 per day. It's 15 per day, okay, consistently for at least 6 months. No, those are your working days. Remember, in this example, we put in 48 working weeks out of 52. So in your working days, or in a week, 74 in a week, consistently for 6 months. And why do I say consistently for 6 months? We know the fortunes in the follow-up in real estate, right? So if you do this and you go all out for a month and then take a month off, no guarantees. You do this for 2 months and then take a month off, no guarantees. It's got to be consistent so you build enough momentum of follow-up nurtures behind yourself, right? Did that strike something with you?
I just am thinking of all of my buddies who are Orange County realtors. And what's so funny is that in the 11 years I was with my former brokerage, and then seeing so many realtors here in Orange County, California, they literally have a cycle that looks like sell a house, take a vacation. That's the beach. And then try and sell a house, then take a vacation, but they didn't plan it. And so what happens is the length of time between this gets to be massive. And so on this real estate roller coaster, rather than just doing the work along the way, and just much, much more consistent. So yeah, I think you hit a chord with me for sure.
Okay. So finally, I'll mention this. If you're using the Power Metrics tab here that we've got for you to track your info, great. We happen to, in our system, we happen to use a thing called Sisu, and I'm in one account here. They've got I want to just do a shout out here. They've got a cool little goal calculator where it kind of takes you through tabs 2 and 3. So if I know my income needs to be 247, they'll do the same math that we just did. What I love about tools like that, and this could just be you implement this for yourself, is punching in your actuals every day. There's something about the habit, and what I love about Sisu is it's got this little reminder that it gives me every day. And if it reach out to us, ping myself or Devin on how we're using a tool like this, a systematic way to track how you're progressing every day. So the question can be now, and this will empower so many of you: did I do my job for the day? How do I know if I did my job for the day? Yes, okay, I did some showings, I showed some houses, I negotiated a contract. In terms of 90 days from now, am I going to have a closing? Right?
Right.
The thing you have the most control over in this business is how many conversations you have. Mm-hmm. So I would ask you, when you're planning your 2021 goals, are these hopes or are they commitments? Mm-hmm. Now you can personally DM me when you go through this, what your goal is for 2021. Maybe you already did it. And yet, here's what I know. And I learned this from many top real estate coaches. Don't tell me what your goal is. Show me. Mm. And what I mean by that is, if I show you, Devin, in my plan that my goal is 35 closings supported by 15 live conversations per day, then here's how I would prove that to you. I'd text you at the end of every day, 15, 15, 15, 15, or the word done, but 15, 15, 15. And at some point, here's what we got to do. We got to draw a line in the sand and say, what is non-negotiable? How I see this play out for most real estate agents is they have to tell others, including often their spouse, significant other, family members, I have a commitment to 15 conversations per day. I will not be pulling in the driveway. I will not be coming out of the home office, whatever it is, until I hit my 15. Even if you did 3, sets of showings and it's 7 p.m. and it's dark outside and you want to just go home, just set a goal for yourself. I will not pull in the driveway until I finish my 15.
Right.
That commitment is what I have found avoids that real estate roller coaster that we all would not love to be on. So if you find yourself in that situation, my question to you is this just a hope and we're going through an exercise, or is this actually a commitment that you're going to help others hold you accountable to? Right. Mm-hmm. And now most of you are going to need a coach. right? We know that. This isn't a tee up for coaching. And yet, here's what we know. Your family members and your friends, they want to stay your family members and friends. They're not going to be your coach. If you need a if you want to do great at tennis, if you want to do great at golf, you need a coach, man. You need somebody who is practiced in the art of holding people accountable. You put Coaches Matter there.
Yep. Well, and I think the thing, Sean, that I would say is that, quite honestly, every big milestone of success that we've had in my real estate career has all been attributed to the coaches that I've chosen. And what I can say is that becoming a coach, and then becoming a transformational coach, and becoming a life coach, and a person that can help people in a lot of different ways, I think the biggest thing that I can tell you is that not all coaching is the same. And what you really need is you need to install, if this is my beautiful picture of you, and that you mean whoever's watching this, right? If you guys are familiar with those really cool little drones that are out there now that fly above you, I'm a big fan. I've got a DJI Mavic. I actually have it right here. Here's my little drone. And what's fun about the drone is that you get to see you from a third party. And that's what's happening with coaching, is that you have this third party view. So this is at Costco, a little DJI drone. We use it for surfing. We were just down in Cabo San Lucas a few times recently, and we fly this thing over us. That's the camera, and it's taking pictures. This is the thing that a coach provides you, is it provides you that. And yes, you can have self-accountability, but there's nothing better than seeing the footage, the game film of your life as it relates to how this happens. It's a powerful, powerful reminder to, hey, why am I losing the game? Or how am I winning the game? Either one of those is a big, big component of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, I know this is going to bless a lot of people. So reach out to us if you have questions. We're here for you. We want to see you thrive in your real estate career, in your business. We're going to do a business planning one as well. So if you know of anybody who owns a real estate team or would like to, we're going to do that one separately. That's kind of like tier 2. Hopefully this was a blessing to you. We did it in under 30 minutes. So thank you, Devin, for coming on and giving us all the perspective. Hopefully this helps you to chunk down to, what do I need to do today? How can I be empowered today? You're putting up your phone number there. So that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to text me, feel free. I know you, and we can throw yours up there as well. Sean, I know you can put a banner up if you want to. I just want to make sure you guys know that now is the time to really taking this to the next level, and we will be glad to support you. And that's literally no cost, no fee, no obligation. Just want to support you wherever you are. We've helped a lot of people with our ability to support just what it looks like for you to take a quick snapshot of where you want to go. So just give us a ring, give us a call, give us a shout out.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Thanks, Devin. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.